We are live. I welcome you all to today's show. Nigerian Constitution, Know Your Right. Nigerian Constitution and Your Right is a show powered by the Global Coalition for Security and Democracy in Nigeria every Tuesday, 9 p.m. Nigerian time, 3 p.m. U.S. Central Time, or 4 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time. As I said, this show is powered by the Global Coalition for Security and Democracy in Nigeria every Tuesday. And you are welcome to the show, and I give you, and I say warm greetings to you, wherever you are in Nigeria or in the diaspora. My name is Edmond Ikeh, and we shall start today's show, whose topic is the immovable property rights in Nigeria. And I'm joined today by two wonderful guests, one a barrister who has been here previously, and one a realtor. So because we're talking about immovable property rights, which when you talk about immovable property, you're talking about landed property. So that is why I think these two guests are pumped and ready for today's discussion. So I'll just add them to the stream before we get started, and I'll have them introduce themselves. Welcome once again. Sorry about that. I just have to do my little intro video. Let's start with ladies first. Chini Rufina, can you introduce yourself to the audience?
Okay, my name is Ikeh Chinyere, and I'm a realtor, and I'm so happy to be here. Thank you, Dr. Edmond, for the
thank you very much. Say hello to Nigerians. Say hello, my fellow Nigerians.
Hello. Hope you're doing well. Hello, good evening. Hope you had a wonderful day at some time.
All right, thank you very much. Thank you. All right, over to you, Barrister Joseph. You're a regular in this show by now.
Yeah, good evening, Doctor. Good evening, Chini, and to all our viewers. I'm Joseph Bagyo, and to the glory of God, last Saturday I was elected as the Secretary of Nigerian Bar Association, Makurdi branch.
Congratulations. That was wonderful. Congratulations. I hope you're going to do a wonderful work. I'm very sure you're going to do a wonderful work. You're doing great. And I know that is going to easily translate in the work you do. And because we need good people to pilot even more smaller association and a bigger platform. So thank you very much.
Exactly.
Thank you to serve as a secretary. And one day you'll be the president of the Bar Association one day.
Hopefully by the grace of God and with your prayers.
And also one day you become a senior advocate of Nigeria, SAN.
Yeah, I pray so, and I told the general.
That's good. All right, let's get to this conversation. Thank you once again, Rufina. Thank you, Barrister Joseph, for joining me today. Today's topic is it's going to be very exciting. It's going to be very interesting because it's about land, immovable property. So to get started, I'm going to read. Usually, I go by one section at a time each show, but today we are focusing on two sections, section 43 and section 44 of the Nigerian Constitution 1999 as amended. Why I picked two sections at a time? Because the two sections are related, and section 43 is very short and not too detailed, but the meat of the matter lies more on section 44. So that's why I combine both sections in today's conversation. And we're still in the journey of fundamental rights of Nigerians, which I always try to tell you, we have 14 fundamental rights as Nigerians, and these 14 fundamental rights are covered in Chapter 4 of our Constitution, and it spans between Section 33 to Section 44. And we're almost done. We're in the finishing, we're almost done with it, because after Section 44, the next one is going to be 45 and 46, and then we'll be done with the fundamental rights, and we'll move on to other sections or chapters of the Constitution. So let me read Section 43, very simple section. Then we'll go from there. All right, Section 43 of the Constitution says, subject to the provisions of the Constitution, every citizen of Nigeria shall have right to acquire and own immovable property anywhere in Nigeria. That is what that part of the Constitution says. So I'll yield the floor to you, able barrister. Can you, this seems very simple and straightforward, but it can also get confusing. What does it mean that every Nigerian, what is that section talking about?
I think that section, going straight to the answer, perhaps in the spirits and in the philosophies of those who framed that particular provision of the Constitution, we're mindful of our cultural diversity. We're mindful of our multilingual nature and the need for us to see ourselves as one. So if you now say, because I'm an indigene I'm a thief man from Benue State, I cannot acquire property in Anambra, then it's wrong. So that provision has put every Nigerian on the same level as far as ownership of property is concerned. And this is to strengthen our diversity. This is to strengthen our heterogeneity. This is to strengthen our integration and all of that. So I think that is the philosophy behind that particular section. So it has given rights, in spite of our cultural differences, in terms of our tribal differences or tribal variations. For anybody, once you are a citizen, you can own property in any part of Nigeria, wherever you are. So I think that's just the brief gist of it. As short as it is so deep because it goes to the root of our cultural diversity. It goes to the root of our cultural integration and the need why we should see ourselves as one in terms of our physical relations, our physical well-being, our material well-being, and our relationship well-being as a people in the country of Nigeria. So that's just the simple gist.
Thank you very much, Barrister Joseph. That was a beautiful explanation of how the importance of that section and how it enriched our diversity as a people. Now, I'm not going to say because I'm an Igbo man, I cannot go to Benue State to acquire land, or I cannot go to Bayelsa to acquire land, or I cannot go to Sokoto to acquire land because I'm an Igbo man. I can acquire land anywhere and any state of the federation. So that's good. Thank you very much. So the next section of the Constitution, because it's a bit longer and it's confusing. My non-legal mind cannot wrap my head around it, and I'm sure many Nigerians, when they read that section, they will be confused as well. So that section 44 is a little bit confusing for me as a non-legal person. So hopefully you're going to help us do some justice and explain it a little bit. So I'm going to take it subsection by subsection so I can break it down for us further and as we go along. So section 44 says, no movable property or any interest in an immovable property shall be taken possession of compulsorily, and no right over or interest in such property shall be acquired compulsorily in any part of Nigeria except in the manner and for the purpose prescribed by law, that among other things. So please, what's that saying about compulsorily? Compulsorily, that's a little bit confusing. What does that mean?
Yeah, by way of summary, that particular provision is talking about compulsory acquisition of land by government authority, or compulsory takeover of land by government authority. Yeah, it is right, because yes, the nature of our land ownership system in Nigeria, the statutory right resides in government, who is holding the land in trust for the people. That is in the case of land within the territorial boundaries of a state, and those of the within the Federal Republic of Nigeria resides within the powers of ownership of to grant reside within reside within the government. So that's just by way of brief explanation. Now, when the government assign or allocates that land to you, within your right in section 43, that you can acquire as a citizen, you can acquire land in any part of the Nigeria. But in the event where government needs that land to comply with any of the fundamental objective and direct principles of state policies as contained in chapter 2 of the Constitution, either to build roads, to build schools, build maybe recreational centers, hospitals, and all of that. A government needs indicates interest in such a land. Yeah, the government is not supposed to be arbitrary in doing that. It's not supposed to use force or extrajudicial means or unlawful means to take over such a land. It should be that, yes, such a family or such persons or group of persons who owns that land, right, are being properly consulted, and the desired compensation, which is enough which is enough in the value of that land government is taking over, so that those people can have other means or acquire lands in other places or have other means of abode. Yeah, they can sort all of that. So that is it. So compulsory acquisition of land, yes, it's with it, but the government has to do it lawfully. Now, maybe if you read further, if you go to section 4, that same section 44, subsection 3, it talks about mineral resources. And that is because the nature, like I said, the nature of our land ownership in Nigeria is not, land is not owned in fee simple, what we call fee simple, where if this land belongs to you, it's your own. So once government identifies that there is a mineral resources on this land, of course, the government can take over that land to harness those mineral resources. But again, the government has to do it lawfully by making sure that such persons are properly compensated, issues of environmental degradations and all of that is captured. So these are just the thin line that, yes, as a citizen, you can acquire land in any part of the country, but where there is an interest, an overriding interest on that land on the part of government to fulfill the fundamental objective and direct principles of state policies, either to provide roads, schools, recreational centers, hospitals, and all of that, the government can take over such a land, but they must do it lawfully by paying adequate compensation.
You made a very vital point there that is not reflective of the realities of the ordinary Nigerian who have acquired land and have faced tremendous challenges. Like you say, yes, the government have the right to take over some land to for purpose which is beneficial for the people, right? Like road, hospitals, as you listed. So, but in many cases, government take over this land by force, which is illegal. And not just taking it over by force, they don't compensate people. So what's the legal word to use here?
The remedy. What options for remedy?
Yes, what is the remedy for that?
Yes. So we are within the purview of chapter 4. We're looking at the rights, right? Yes. And if you read further, if you go to section 46, I'm right. So if your right is about to be infringed or likely to be infringed, right? You don't have to wait. There is this Yoruba proverb that says, "Igi kokoromo gumiloju okere lati wo." That is a stick projecting to affect your eyes or give you an injury from your eye. You'll start looking at it from afar. So the moment you sight danger, the moment you begin to see that, no, my right is about to be infringed, or my right is now being trampled upon, you can seek remedy, you can seek redress by taking government to court. And in most cases, people have gone to court to challenge government arbitrariness, to challenge government unlawful takeover of land. And most often, the court has on several occasions, several plethora of cases, giving judgment in favor of people against the government, you know. So the remedy is very simple. Once you see that, yes, your land which you acquire, which is within your rights as contained in section 43, and the government is now invoking section 44 to say, yeah, we are taking over this land for overriding public interest, and compensation has not been paid. You can't sleep over it, you know. So it's not done anywhere. So compensation has to be paid, and where it's not paid, you can go to court and challenge the action of the government. And that's it.
Yeah, thank you, Barrister. That is the purpose of this program, to educate the Nigerian populace, to educate the masses. Like you have stated, if you read further, if we go to section 46, which we're going to do in 2 weeks' time, it tells you can go to court. You can go to either the state high court or the federal high court and report this matter. So it's very important. That's why we're teaching you your right. We're teaching the content of the Constitution. You know that you have fundamental rights as Nigerians. Do not wait and allow your right to be trampled upon, and follow up, sue the government or sue whoever is trying to infringe on your right, and follow it up to logical conclusion. And I know some Nigerians do sue, but they don't follow it up to logical conclusion because they get frustrated along the way. But no matter how frustrating it might be, you have to keep at it and follow it to a logical conclusion. So I think I would have loved the other guests, but I think she's having some internet connection challenges. I would have liked to hear her views as a realtor in Nigeria, because they have an interface with many land buyers and the challenges that land buyers undergo in that process. I would have loved to hear her view. Unfortunately, the connection does not allow that. So I'm going to take a quick break now, and when we come back, we're going to continue with the conversation with Barrister Joseph.
Invitation. Principals and proprietors of public and secondary schools in Nigeria are hereby invited to register 2 of their students for the first national quiz competition on the Nigerian Constitution for secondary schools in Nigeria. Commencement date 1st October 2022. Deadline for registration 15th August 2022. Registration fee free. Venue virtual. Prizes to be won by the 6 best schools include millions of naira, laptops, copies of the Nigerian Constitution, and lots more. Please request a free application form by sending an email to rights.gcsdn@gmail.com or gcsdn@gcsdn.org. You cannot stand for your rights if you don't know your rights.
This project is powered by the Global Coalition for Security and Democracy in Nigeria, GCSDN, and the Rescue Me Now Data and Media Limited.
Signed, Dr. Edmond Ikeh, Project Administrator.
All right, welcome back from the break. As you heard from that jingle, the Global Coalition for Security and Democracy is organizing a national quiz competition You can see the flyer on your screen right now. And this national competition is going to focus on the secondary schools all over Nigeria. So if you know a proprietor that is interested to have their school participate in this competition, encourage them to apply by sending us an email, and a registration form will be sent to the school to follow the instruction and register their school. But it's important to note that the schools that are allowed to participate have to be a registered school. So you have to be a registered school, that's a recognized school, like the government approved schools. So those are the schools that are allowed or to register for this national quiz competition. And as you had, there's going to be prizes to be won by various schools. So please encourage schools around you. We have sent letters to the Ministry of Education and various schools as well haven't sent the application. So do make sure that a school near you participates so that kids can learn their rights and also win prizes in the process. All right, well, welcome back to the show. Barrister.
Yes.
So you have explained what Nigerians should do when they have their rights infringed, right? So who takes over the mineral resources in the land? I know you mentioned it earlier, but I wasn't too sure. Is it the government that takes over the mineral resources, or is it the owner of the land? Who?
I think my undergraduate long essay was in petroleum. I researched in the area of petroleum law, oil sabotage in the Nigerian petroleum downstream industry, and the need for the reforms in regulation. So I think I'm quite conversant with the question you've posed, because if you look at section 44, subsection 3 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, it's amended, it has given exclusive right of ownership of mineral resources to the government. And if you go to chapter 2 of the Constitution, it said it's the duty of the government to harness all the mineral resources we have in this country and for our benefits. Whether they do it or not is a discourse for another day. But for the purpose of your question and for our listeners, when it comes to ownership of mineral resources in Nigeria, the ownership resides in government, because section 44, subsection 3 of the Constitution is very express on that. All mineral resources, whether on land or on water, belongs to government. So once the mineral resources is discovered on your land, automatically the government can come in to take over that land and harness that mineral resources. Unlike what you have in other countries where land is owned in fee simple, and whatever is on that land belongs to the owner of that land. It's a different case entirely in Nigeria. So that is why within the exclusive economic zone, I think 200 nautical miles within the exclusive economic zone, and 30 miles within the 30 nautical miles within the within our territorial waters. All the mineral resources within that coverage of water belongs to the government. So, simply put, ownership of all mineral resources in Nigeria resides in government to harness for the betterment of we Nigeria. Unfortunately, the opposite is what we see in this country.
Thank you very much, Barry. Before I ask you more questions, I'm going to read that particular section so that people will actually hear what the Constitution says about that. Section 44, subsection 3. It says, notwithstanding the foregoing provision of this section, the entire property and control of all minerals, mineral oil, and natural gas in, under, or upon any land in Nigeria, or in, under, or upon the territorial waters and the exclusive economic zone of Nigeria shall vest in the government of the Federation. and shall be managed in such manner as may be prescribed by the National Assembly. So that is what the law says, as the barrister explained. So, so the next question I have is, I'm just going back to our very first, my very first question to you, that what did Section 43 says about who can buy, who is allowed to buy land, and where can you buy land? And it is clear that every Nigerian have the right to buy land anywhere in Nigeria. That is what the provision of the law. So, what about in the case, from what I've heard, at least from experiences from realtors, it seems like in some states or in specific communities, they don't allow certain tribes to acquire land in such communities. So what would you say about that, and what is the remedy for that?
Well, I think those are more or less social factors that are drawing back development in our country or in our respective states. We are in a country where we are good Christians, we are good Muslims, we are good African traditional worshippers, but unfortunately, we don't put ahead. We don't seem to put our human relationship ahead of us. It's quite unfortunate. So what we have today is tribalism, favoritism, nepotism, and a lot of ethnic biases going on across Nigeria. So you find an Igbo man saying, I will not sell my land to a non-Igbo man, and all of that. It's quite unfortunate. But, well, I will speak about maybe in Benue State, for instance. I know that a lot of Igbo people owns land here in Benue. It's what I know as a fact. And so it is in another. But in recent development, what we are seeing is a different ball game entirely, because these issues of tribalism, nepotism, and all of that, now people come with heavy fines, heavy considerations, and all of that, making the whole thing the whole transaction of acquisition of land become quite clumsy. So it's quite unfortunate, and that is because the leadership at the center has not really done much in terms of uniting the country, in terms of helping to promote our heterogeneity, in terms of promoting our cultural diversity. These are things that should not be done on pages of newspapers or on the screen alone, but deliberate actions given to them by people who are in charge. So I think I share in that, because a lot of these issues are going on, but I think we can use, employ advocacy to overcome them.
All right. Thank you very much for that response. So I'm going to take a quick break, and when we'll come back, I'll give a summary, and then you give us a closing remark.
Register to vote and collect your PVC now. Affliction shall not rise a second time.
That is why we, members of Global Coalition for Security and Democracy in Nigeria, GCSDN, is calling on all Nigerians, irrespective of tribe, religion, and political affiliation, to embrace our new formula known as 23 unto 23, which means you must encourage 23 persons to register for their voters card. Then the 23 persons should get another 23 persons to register too for their PVC. If 23 is multiplied by 23, we shall arrive at 529 voters card. If 189,035 of us do this, we shall have 100 million voters ready gidigba for the 2023 elections. By December
2022,
GCSDN shall organize a global online election where we shall all choose choose the presidential candidate to support in the 2023 elections. We must elect a patriotic and visionary servant, a servant that will put our country and our citizens' rights above his or her personal interests. Oya, let the journey begin.
This message is powered by Prince Ewemade Concourse, PROGCSDN.
All right, welcome back, my people. If you've heard that jingle, it's about get your PVC, get your PVC. The original deadline for getting your PVC, that's a permanent voters card, was June 30th. But I read in the news today that a court have placed an injunction. Is that the right word? Have stopped INEC from effecting that deadline. So that means the deadline has been lifted. Am I right?
Yeah, you're right.
Okay, so the deadline has been lifted. So it's no longer 30th of June, according to the court. So you can go and keep registering. If you haven't registered, please make sure to register, because your PVC is an instrument for you to exercise your civic right. Civic responsibility. So make sure you get your PVC, and not just getting your PVC, make sure you collect it, and on election day, make sure to vote. And we're not talking about just voting for president. It's not just president. There are many other people involved in government. The government is not just the president. It's not just the vice president. It's not just the executive branch. We have the judicial branch, who are the judges. And so if you elect good president, the good president will appoint good judges. If you elect bad president, the bad president will appoint terrible judges that's going to do his or her bidding. So pay attention to all that. And you also have the legislative branch of government, who are the people that make the law. The senators and House of Representative members, they are the legislative branch of government. So, and you have to also go and cast your vote for them. If you see someone that has a forged certificate, make sure you don't elect that person as a senator, because how would you allow someone with a forged certificate to make laws for you? It does not make sense. So these are the things you pay attention. Pay attention to what is the credential of the people you elect into any of these branches of government, whether the judicial, whether the legislative, or whether the executive. Okay? And also come to the state level, the governor, the state house of assembly, and the local government chairman and ward councillors. Pay attention to people vying for this office, and make sure you go and cast your vote. It's very, very important for us to build a better country where law and order is the order of the day. Like as the good barrister have explained the different parts of our constitution, specifically section 43 and section 44. And you see, if we have good leaders will make sure that our rights, as explicitly described in these sections, is not trampled upon. When you elect the wrong leaders, they will trample upon our rights every day, every time, and every chance they get. All right, that is my little speech. I will hand over to the good barrister, Barrister Joseph, to give us a 1 minute closing remark.
Well, again, I want to thank the Global Coalition for Security and Democracy in Nigeria for always giving me this platform to air my feelings and my thoughts to Nigerians and members of across the globe generally. I think we have come to that road where we have to tell ourselves the honest truth that for us to redeem Nigeria, all of us must put our hands on deck so that we will get the job done. So I want to encourage you to sustain this advocacy and also reiterate my commitment that I'm always available anytime, any day. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And as the good barrister said, he's available anytime. Guess what? He's also going to be a guest next Tuesday. So make sure you tune in. And I see I've looked through the comment when he was giving his closing remark. No one sent in comment today. Please, this show requires you to send in your comments, ask questions, and we'll answer all your questions before the show ends. So please make sure to participate in the show by sending a comment, liking the program, and sharing, encouraging your friends to join. And please make sure to join us every Tuesday, 9 p.m. Nigerian time or 3 p.m. US Central Time if you live in Central Time Zone like me, or if you live in the Eastern Time, 4 p.m. So please join us. And once again, this show is powered by the Global Coalition for Security and Democracy in Nigeria, and we're going to keep doing our part, and we encourage you as good law-abiding citizens of Nigeria to do your part, learn what is contained in the Constitution, and make sure to exercise your right at all times. Don't be nonchalant about your rights. Whenever you feel, as you saw the Constitution said, whenever you feel, don't wait till your right is trampled upon or be infringed. Whenever you feel that it's about to be infringed, take it up. Pick it up immediately. So, and I will, this is where I'll leave you today. Thank you once again, the good barrister Joseph, and I will see you next Tuesday. Come with your energy, come prepared, and educate our brothers and sisters in Nigeria. Have a wonderful day, and good evening, good night.
Thank you. Good night.
Yeah.